Man, I miss high school. You know, it's kind of weird to think that, you know, you were in high school one day and you didn't want to go there and you didn't want to be there, at least for me. I think I was late like every day. Somehow managed to graduate on time, but I was late every day. Um, I missed some days, but it's funny because I took an extra year after I graduated, just so I could drive my truck in that truck right here. So the reason I miss high school is because I don't know. I was just thinking about it a lot more. I remember being told as a kid that don't rush it because you're gonna miss it, and I never believed what I heard. I never believed it. I do now, and it was true. It was really true. Back when you had no responsibilities, really. I mean, there was the odd things you had to do. And that was it. No worrying about financial horse shit and all that. I mean, I did. I went to high school and, I still wanted to walk down the street and get a pizza or something like that. And yeah, call me what you want, but I didn't really have a job throughout high school. I was really nervous to start my first job. But I missed the freedom, sort of. I mean, you still had to go to class and all that. And I was in the office a few times as well. The hall monitor, the odd time, would chase me down, but I'd hang out with or the odd time I'd skip class with my friend Reggie. I'd go with them and they'd all go into the bush and go and smoke weed. And I don't smoke weed. I didn't smoke weed, so I was just kind of with them. And I think that was even before it was legal. So I'd go and ditch class to do that. I don't know why, but it was fun. It was rebellious. It was something you weren't supposed to be doing, so it was fun for me. And I don't know, I remember just a lot more freedom than what you had at work. I mean, in the sense, it's pretty much the exact same thing as going to work. You got to be up at a certain time to be there at a certain time, and then you got your assigned breaks. You got somebody monitoring you during your breaks, hall monitors. And then you got an assigned time to leave, and I think you're only at school for 7 hours. Yeah, it must be 7 hours, because I remember the acronym for school was 7 crappy hours of our life. Yeah, so it must be 7 hours. But I don't know, come to think of it, it really wasn't that bad. The only bad thing was the gym teachers. I never got along with gym teachers. I had one. His name was Mr. I'm just gonna say Mr. N. He actually started off as my geography teacher in grade 9 when I first went to school. Because the reason I'm talking about this, because I'm in the parking lot of the school. As you can see, I'm not using my camera, I'm using my phone. Forgot my camera at home. Forgetting it again. But he started off as my geography teacher in grade 9 when I first went to this school, and I didn't know a single person. I think I knew one person. That was it. I didn't know anybody else in the school, because everybody else that I knew went to high school and on my side of town when I got selected to come here. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah, like I've said for the third time now, he was my geography teacher, and then he ended up being my gym teacher for, I think, grade 9, 10. No, 9 was somebody else. 10 was, I think, him, and then 11 was him. Him and I didn't get along the greatest, but I was a little bastard too. I didn't listen all that well, so I mean, it's kind of justified for him to be the way he was. Probably was fed up with seeing me every day. I don't blame him. So I got no hard feelings against him. But my grade 9 gym teacher, Mr. W, I would love to say his name, but I'm just not going to do that. He was a prick. I did not like him. He was an asshole. He got up in my face the one time like a drill sergeant and like screamed at me. I mean, that was also because I wasn't listening, but there was still no need to do that. We're not in the military. This is high school. You're only a high school gym teacher. Relax. But it was down in the far gym. It was during a football game, and I think we finished class early or something like that so we could watch the football game. And I've never really cared for football at all, so I didn't want to be there. I kind of stepped into the little back room that was like beside the gym. I stepped into the back room, and he was like, "Oh, Kiefer, you need to get out of here," or something like that. And I'm like, "Oh, all right, Jesus." I said it just like that. He pulled me back into that room, and he got up my face. I forget what he said, but he was screaming at me, saying I need to learn to listen or something like that. And then I went back out, and I just walked away. I was like, whatever, I'm not dealing with this. So I think I went to another class. It was the last one of the day, and then the football game might have still been going on. I think obviously was, because I walked up to him. I seen him. I walked up to him, and I apologized. I'm like, look, sorry for whatever I did. I didn't mean to, get you upset. But then I was like, just don't get in my face like that again. I don't know if he thought I was threatening him. I don't know if he thought something else, but I was just making a point. I was like, don't get in my face. You wouldn't like it if I got in your face. He just looked at me and he said, Kiefer, get out of here before you get yourself in more trouble. And I was like, you know what? F*** you. And I left. Never got in trouble for that, though. Me and what the hell? I can't remember. Me and my horticulture teacher, for some reason we didn't get along, but then after I was out of high school, we got along great. I actually want to go back and see him. He's one of the original ones that I dealt with when I was there. He's Mr. L, and there is Mr. VT. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you went to high school with me, you know who he is. He was one of my favorites too. And there was Mr. H. I'm just gonna say that Mr. H was close to being named after a bird. Well, he was basically named after a bird. I think VT and H retired. And then there was Mr. G, who was Italian, very loud. He was great. I hated him when I started. I couldn't stand him. I thought he was an asshole. But then the more mature that I got, the more I realized that he's actually not that bad. He was a really nice guy. Beautiful truck he had too. I think he had a 95 GMC Sierra, mint condition. It's beautiful. He's retired now. But the only one that's left, I'm pretty sure, is Mr. L, if I'm not mistaken. Because they all basically retired when I was leaving. And yeah, VT was great. He helped me. He helped me learn a lot about cars, how to fix things and rebuild things. I wish I paid more attention back then. To me, being a kid in school is like the worst thing you could do, because you're not going to pay attention. I know I didn't. There's lots of things that I wish I paid attention more, but I don't know. It's like get you through and get you out, and out to the workforce you go. Slap another one in. But I wish I paid attention more. Like, there's one thing I wish I could have learned about was compression testing and motors, and learning how to do stuff like that, or maybe I don't know, just stuff that I just wish I paid attention more. But he helped me with a lot. When I had the old 92 Cheyenne, I brought it into the car show here, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And before that, because my granny was driving it at the time, I didn't have a license, so she would bring it up here after work, and that way I could use their fancy air-powered buffer because I didn't have a buffer at the time. And I buffed the truck up before bringing it to the car show. And the car show turned out great. It was always a good turnout. I hope they do it again. I was parked in the side, because it's all down back where they do it. There's like student parking and whatever back there. But I was parked back there, and I was in the middle row. And then the next year that I went, I was parked along the back row, and I actually have a picture of me, and I found it on their website, or their Facebook page. It was me and my friend Matt. Standing right beside my truck. It's blurry, but I'm gonna try to put it right there. And that was in 2019. I actually skipped a day of work to do that. I just called in and I was like, yeah, I'm not coming in. Whatever, priorities. But then some other kid that I knew, he pulled up in his S10, and then I found out that after he left the car show, he smashed it up. So it was just like, whoa, geez. It was a nice truck too. It's always a shame when somebody buys one of them and just beats the shit out of it. But yeah, the car show is great. It's organized by VT. Mr. B, who's the cooking teacher here. I think he's still here. I didn't like him at first either. Just one of those. Then he turned out to be great. I was just a little asshole. It was literally only me. I did a lot of this back then and ran my mouth, especially if somebody owned a Ford. Oh man, I didn't let them hear the end of it. I regret that. I feel like such an idiot for doing that kind of stuff. But I was only a kid, so I remember what really what really opened my eyes is when I said something about Mr. B's Mustang, and he's like, well, he's like, I drove here this morning. How'd you get here? Man, that shut me up. Because he knew damn well I didn't drive. But, learned my lesson. Don't mouth off about people's cars and whatever. I hate it when people do it to mine. So, but he was great. He has one of those, I think it's a Fox body Mustang. I'm not the biggest fanatic of Mustangs, so I don't really know. But he organizes a car show. I think his brother does a lot of promoting for it. I know if you're watching this and you didn't go to Glenview, you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, but I'll try to post some pictures as I'm talking. Maybe even some footage if I can find any. But there was the 2 years. Yeah, because there was the first year that I went, I think it was 2017. No, it wouldn't have been 2017. I'm thinking way ahead. The first year, I think I was in grade 9. Yeah, it would have been in grade 9. The first year they went to car show. And they had these 2 scrap cars that they brought in, and then there was a bunch of lifted Jeeps that would drive over them, run them over and all that. And I think they did that for 2 years only. And then when I went in 2019, they didn't do that. At least not by what I remember. I got pretty drunk that night because it was a Friday. So I don't quite remember. But yeah. Those are the things I miss about high school. Even in horticulture class, I learned a lot about hydroponics, and I wish I pursued that a bit more as well. I could be growing weed for the government, making a lot more money than I do now. I learned how to do hydroponics. I learned how to do some stone laying and pavers and all that. My friend Matt was 10 times better at that stuff than I was. He would build these whole sets. I don't even know how to explain it. If I had a picture, I would show you. I don't know if I can find one, but he would just build this shit in the middle of the classroom, and it was unbelievable. I couldn't do it. But I still learned how to do some of that. I learned how to actually take care of some chickens. I think Andrew might remember this. Gail and Phyllis. I'll put a picture of them right here too. These are the 2 chickens that we had in that class, and I took care of them. Before them, there was a chicken cooped out back, and unfortunately, some troglodytes broke into the back courtyard and grabbed paver stones and killed them. Now, why you would do that is beyond me, but I'm somewhat okay up there. I have a picture of that, but I'm not going to post that one. The cops were there that day. They ended up finding out who did it, and they got charged, and I'm pretty sure put in jail, which, big thumbs up to that one. And then, what else did I learn in there? I learned how to weld, which I'd like to do a bit more. I know whenever the maintenance guy at work is welding, I smell that. If you've ever stick welded, you'll know what smell I'm talking about. And I like that smell. It brought back a lot of memories because I used to enjoy stick welding. Except for when the stick would stick to the metal and then you'd go to pull it off, and it's just, that pissed me off. MIG welding was fun. Using the plasma cutter was fun. The only time it wasn't fun is when a piece of slag blew off, went right down my shirt. That wasn't fun. I remember that one. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. I wish I'm sure as soon as I stop recording this, I'm going to think of more stuff that I should have said and be like, damn, why didn't I put that in the video? Because I do that all the time. But if you watched this far and you heard me ramble on about my times in high school, I appreciate it. There was some bad times as well, but we're here for the positive stuff, aren't we? So yeah, if you like what you've seen, you like these commentary videos, and keep on watching, subscribe, dislike, like, I don't care what you do. Drink water and coffee and beer, but not when you're in this seat, not when you're sitting here. Don't drink and drive. And always recycle. So, take care.